Hi, I'm Dan Schmitt. I do a motorcycle racing TV show, Team Chicago Challenge. My email is teamdan45@gmail.com. My website is teamchicago.tv. We're celebrating the first automobile race that took place 130 years ago at a location right here. We're behind the Museum of Science and Industry. We go back to 1895, and 6 cars started, and it snowed on Thanksgiving. In fact, it snowed 2 days prior to Thanksgiving. So 6 cars started, only 2 finished. They went from this location, or a little bit south of here, all the way to Evanston and back. They started about 9 o'clock in the morning. The first car finished, Frank Duryea, finished at 7:30, and the second car, the Mueller car, finished at 8:30. So it was a, hold on. President Trump, are you calling me this morning? Listen, I'm at the Museum of Science and Industry, and we're celebrating the first automobile race. So, and I'm trying to do my show. You always call me when I'm doing my show opening, President Trump, but I'll call you back later. Next year, maybe we'll get you to show up down here at Thanksgiving. You can come to my house and have dinner with us. But let me finish my show opening. Hold on. So, we are here at the back of the museum, but the original location it started where they put a boulder in 1995 has now been taken over by the Obama people, and they're building their temple, and the rock has disappeared. Somewhere along the line, I'm going to try to find out where the rock is. So don't forget my email. It's teamdan45@gmail.com. And and remember, you can always tune in to YouTube also and catch my shows. I arrived at the Museum of Science and Industry at 9:30, and I spotted Fran's Triumph, Pat's Suzuki, and also I talked to Santiago, who's with the Toys for Tots motorcycle parade.
My name is Santiago Castillo Gistier. I'm here to honor the race that was here 130 years ago. And it's very important that people never forget about our past. You know what I mean? So it's very good to be here, and it's an honor, Mr. Wildt and you and these other gentlemen here that are with us. I hope these guys keep doing this again. God bless you.
Pat Johnston. I'm from Palatine, and I was invited down here, and I'm glad to be part of the tradition.
Right.
Yep.
And that's your bike? You own a...
It's a Suzuki C50.
Okay.
Yep. Cruiser.
And then,
Hi, I'm Fran from Arlington Heights. I've been doing this for a while, and I've been hanging out with Dan at his famous track days and other events that he holds. And it's Thanksgiving. And if you can't take a moment in a whole year to give a little thanks for everything you got and everybody that you know, you're just not doing it right.
well, that's why I'm here to honor my old friend Bill Wildt, because I met Bill Wildt at Sycamore Speedway back in 1970. That's when I got into racing, and Bill was racing.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to say, Bill really was a real racer. I mean, technical stuff, engine building, he was really, and then he's the one in 1995 when they set the rock down. He's the one that was here, didn't even know about the celebration that they were going to place the rock. He just came because this was a discussion that we had on his TV show. And so he came down there, and all of a sudden there's this whole group of people, and they had a whole parade. And I have that footage, so I'm going to show some of that footage from that day, and I may show a couple of the speeches from that day.
Good. That's an honor.
I'd love to see that, Dan. That'd be terrific. And could you tell us the name of the book that you read about the race?
Sure thing, Fran. And thanks to all the guys that showed up so far in the morning. The name of the book was Carriages Without Horses. It was written by Richard Scharsberg. And fortunate for us, and me. Back in 1995, when Bill Wildt was down here, he recorded a good number of speeches. So let's hear from Dr. Richard Scharsberg from 1995.
A word now from our historian, Dr. Scharsberg.
Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to say just one or two words. They said keep it short, and I was almost tempted to pull something that's a little bit theatrical. I may do it yet and then just take one or two moments. My purpose here is to try to put this race in perspective in terms of why the race and why Chicago for that race. My inclination was to really keep it short and say what was the significance of the race. Well, here it is, right here. This is a booklet prepared by Frank Duryea, and it says, when Chicago introduced the automobile to America. That's why the race. This event, more than any other event that occurred at any other time, was responsible for opening the door on the auto age. It began here. It began in Chicago. The great significance of it is precisely that. Nearly every historian, nearly every auto enthusiast dates the auto age beginning in 1895. Herman Colsatt, editor of the Chicago Times-Herald, had the idea for it from watching the race in Paris, and decided that America needed it too. He promoted it, and it started from relatively near here. And with that, I think that's enough. Just remember what Frank said a few years later, the significance of the race when Chicago introduced the automobile to America. Thank you.
On Thanksgiving Day in 1995, Bill Wildt also recorded the beginning of the parade of vintage cars from this location to Evanston and back. And now we're going to hear from Samantha Bentley, who worked with Bill Wildt on Motorsports Unlimited TV show, and Santiago.
Hi, good morning, Chicagoland. I'm Samantha Bentley, and I was on Motorsports Unlimited for over a decade when Bill Wildt was the producer of the show. And I love coming down here to the Rock because it's the, actually today's the 130th anniversary of the first automobile race. So I can't miss that as a motorsports girl.
All right.
And
yeah, I am here because I love cars. I like motorsports, and I'm here to honor the 130th automobile race.
Right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And like I said, it's an honor to be here. I wish I would know where the Rock was at. I heard somebody stole it and didn't bring it back. Yeah. Mr. Obama. Mr. Obama, I wish you would turn around and bring our Rock back. You know what I mean? It's not all about you.
Yeah.
You know, it's not all about our president or anybody else. We want our Rock back, please.
Well, while we're on the topic, hey, Michelle and former President Obama, we can see your new foundation coming up here by the Griffin Science Museum. And hello to my financial buddy Ken Griffin, who this museum is now basically named after. But well, we're blessed with a beautiful sunny day. I know tomorrow or Saturday we're going to have 8 inches of snow, they tell us.
I hope not.
So it's really great to be here on a sunny day in Hyde Park. And we hope to see more people. I know when Bill did, I was thinking this morning, Bill passed away at a very early age. He was like only 71 or 72 years old. And he basically to his end of his days, he was so much into motorsports. He was still filming and working on the camera and things like that, even when he was ill. So yeah, we're dear friends of Bill Wildt. I met him when at a black tie affair. I always tell this. I was wearing a red gown, and Chuck Itzenthaler, who was the cameraman, he's the one that first saw me in my red long gown. It was actually for NASCAR. This is before NASCAR was really big. NASCAR used to come down to Chicago for the Dan Cotter annual gala event, and they would raise a lot of money for the Dan Cotter Boys and Girls Club. And that's where I met Chuck Itzenthaler and Bill Wildt, and he kind of pursued me for 2 years. He's like, "Hey, don't you want to be on this show?" And I said, "No, not if I have to wear those skimpy outfits. I'm in business, and someone's gonna like say something." And but after 2 years, he won over. I did wear the costume for about a year or two, and then he said, "Hey, my announcer is leaving town. Do you want to take that?" And so for the next 8 years, I was the announcer. I did the opening and the closing and some of the inserts, and had such a blast. It was such, the motorsports community is there's such camaraderie. We all join together for a common cause, and I've met some of the nicest men. Men don't get enough credit, and the guys in the motorsports community have all been big brothers to me. So I love this community, and I'll show up as long as, as Dan will film this on Thanksgiving Day. So yeah.
Well, the one thing there is Facebook, Motorsports Unlimited, and I want to tell people we still have a lot of Bill Wildt stuff left, and I'm going to start putting it up there for auction or for people to bid on. So pay attention. You can just go to Facebook, Motorsports Unlimited, and that's why I put a notice up about this event today, and I even drew a little map so nobody would get lost. Thank you, Samantha and Santiago. As we see Pat and Fran leave on their motorcycles, another old friend, Cyril Friend, showed up on his Moto Guzzi to join the celebration of the first automotive race in America.
Cyril Friend from Riverside. I've been coming here at least 20 years, and I've brought so many different bikes here over the years. Everything from my vintage BMW /5 to a 4-horsepower Honda 70 Cub or Passport scooter, my Guzzi, my Ural, Goldwing, I mean everything. But in honor of our late friend Bill. But to me, glad to have some memento.
Right. Well, there's more stuff that I'm going to be putting up on the Motorsports, and you go to Motorsports Unlimited Facebook. Yeah, I have more items I'm going to be putting up.
I'd rather ride my bike.
Yeah, so we've been here on some super cold days. A few decent warm days, not bad.
Right. Well, if it wasn't so windy, it'd be much nicer.
Yeah.
But at least we got the sunshine and no snow, because 130 years ago, when they had the race, it snowed 2 days before, and it kept snowing. So when people wonder about global warming, what was the global warming back in 1895? Thank you, Zero, as we look at a few photos from 1895, Thanksgiving Day. Yes, it snowed the day before the race. 6 cars showed up. And now we're going to hear from my friend, Crazy Art.
I just want to say I got to support racing, motorsports like Bill Wildt and you, Dan, and we got to preserve it. And we're like a dying generation. The cars and motorcycles we loved, the new generation isn't. They've got to get into it and pick it up. And I just want to promote all different car and motorcycle clubs
Amen.
to keep these sports going.
Yes.
Okay, I'm a big fan of the Studebaker Avanti, so
Okay.
I've got my
Cool.
Alvante owner
Wow.
jacket.
okay. So then I got to promote the Avanti Club. As you know, Bill would always talk about the Avanti, and when I was a kid, the first time I seen one, I was just read about it in Popular Science magazine, and it came with disc brakes and a roll bar, and you could buy a supercharged one so that the 289 cubic inch Studebaker engine, you could kick in that supercharger and blow everybody's doors off.
And it set the land speed record at 173 miles an hour. 2 weeks prior, Mickey Thompson with a Pontiac went 150 miles an hour. So this with the 289 engine, and the Alvante set and that record lasted for 30 years as far as a production car doing 170 miles an hour at Salt Lake, Salt Flats.
Right from the factory. And
So what year was that in then? What year did you
it
do
started in 1962. They came out with a 1963
Okay.
Avanti.
Right.
And in 1964, they put rectangular headlights on them. And nobody had rectangular headlights back then. And now everybody's got all different ones. So in promoting different clubs, you got to join them to keep the sports going. So all starts off with, you go for motorcycling. You go down at Diversey and Lawrence used to have a free motorcycle show every summer, 500 bikes. That was fantastic. And then it moved up to Aragon Ballroom, and then it turned into Motoblat, which now is like $83 a day to attend. And I believe in altruism. We do stuff for the love of the sport, the love of the idea. That's why we're out here today, because we love doing this stuff. And today is such a perfect day in Chicago to come down Lakeshore Drive in this beautiful sun. You know, just no traffic. It was great. Wish I was on a motorcycle. So with motorcycle shows, I found out about the Chicago Norton Owners Club, Chicagoland area Norton Owners Club, and they threw a beautiful bike show. It was the English Bike Show out in DuPage County, and then
they had it at Triumph Theater for a while in St. Charles.
Yes.
And then they moved it to MCC, which is on St. Charles Road, a little bit west of Route 83.
Exactly.
And that's Sunday, and it's free to the public.
Yes, and it's beautiful, and the bikes in the parking lot are as good as the bike show, the people that come and show that stuff.
Right.
I got to promote the Norton Club. They've been around for so many years, and they've got great road trips all over, and they throw that motorcycle show. The other thing I want to promote is the BMW Club also, because they have fantastic guest speakers, and they drive all the time. And as you know, BMW guys only wash their motorcycles when it rains. They're on the road all the time. And I'm surprised Fern is in here, and he had his BMW with 178,000 miles, and he traded in for a Triumph now, stuff like that.
Right.
So we've got.
Well, he was here earlier.
I missed him.
Yes.
And that's, I would have liked to seen him, stuff like that. Another thing is, years ago, I'm watching 10 o'clock news, and they talk about the Orphan Car Picnic, a car show I missed with weirdo discontinued cars. So I missed the first one, but I went to the next 24 years of them, and Larry Claypool threw that out, and it was down in Aurora, Illinois, and it was just beautiful. You see all these exotic things, and I've seen Avantis there too, and two of the Avantis I saw at that show I wound up buying through the years and stuff like that. So other than that club, I want to go back to another club here.
Can't prepare here.
So
The Nash.
yes, the Nash Metropolitan. I always think of it as the first American compact economy car. It was tiny.
Okay, yes.
Recently, I found out when Leonard Nimoy moved to California to be a movie star, him and his wife had a little Nash Metropolitan with his two kids.
Oh my
Well,
I
the
see
most
pictures.
famous Nash Metropolitan was Lois Lane.
I don't know. I think she had a full-size Nash.
No. She had them.
She had the little Metro too, so those are kind of cute.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if you ever get drunk...
But it was a black and white TV show, so nobody ever knew what the real color of Lois Lane.
That was the early model.
Thank you, Art. And another great book from the Bill Wildt collection is The Horseless Carriage Race by Michael Doolin. Wonderful artwork and writing from Michael Doolin. It points out that 6 cars started this race at a location that was near a building that was built during the World's Fair in 1893, which is now the Museum of Science and Industry. This drawing here shows a photographer from the Chicago Times-Herald taking a picture. And I have a copy of that picture from 1895. There was a staggered start, and J. Frank Duryea was the first one off the line headed north. He ran into a snowbank at Erie and Rush and broke the steering lever. A blacksmith shop was found, and Frank fixed the steering lever at the blacksmith's shop, and he was back in the race again, running in second place. He caught the Jerry O'Connor Benz-powered vehicle and took the lead. Jerry O'Connor had his own problems when he hit a sleigh and bent the front wheel, and eventually his Benz motor quit running and Jerry O'Connor was out of the race. Oscar Mueller was now in second place with his Benz-powered vehicle, but the weather got to him and his umpire, Charles King, continued on. It was clear sailing for J. Frank Duryea as he finished the race a little bit past 7 o'clock in the evening. And now we're going to see J. Frank Duryea's great-grandson and grandson unveil the rock at the celebration in 1995.
Well, at this point, I feel like I should say, gentlemen, start your engines, but maybe if I can get you up here, Dad, we can unveil the plaque.
As we see the boulder and the plaque that was laid in 1995, I had a chance to talk to my friend and fellow ice racer, Jim Leonards.
I'm Leonards, and I came down here. I didn't know about this car race in 1895. But thanks to Dan, it makes people aware of stuff. I guess it was a rock here, but it's missing. It's not here right now. Something happened to it. Maybe they'll find it one day and bring it back. But this is the place where the cars left here and went to
Evanston and back. Right.
And back. In 1895, and just
in the snow.
Yeah. You couldn't go to the store and get parts, or automotive store to get parts for those cars. So it was, when you think about how difficult it must have been and how enthused the people to do something like that and go through with it, it's just unbelievable. Here in Chicago, this part of the United States, to do something like that, it's people don't realize it. And I wasn't aware of it until.
Thank you, Jim. And this is the Obama Temple, maybe the ugliest building in Chicago. I've been to other presidential libraries, and I think this is probably the ugliest. Now the rock is gone. I came down here when I knew they were building this temple for Obama, and I talked to a construction guy, and he said that he remembers them putting it on a skid. And where that skid went, I called the Park District, I called the City of Chicago, I called the contractor for this temple, and nobody can give me any answers. So Bob Fioretti is running again. He's running for state's attorney. No, he's running for Attorney General for the state of Illinois. Now, I challenged Bob a couple of years ago. I said, Bob, why don't you help me find the rock? Well, he said, and he's a lawyer. His son owns a big law firm. They have all the tools.
Yes.
He says, well, you got to file a freedom of information, da-da-da-da. I said, so here's my message. I'm going to send this show to Bob Fioretti. You could win an election if you went and did something for the public. The motorsport community would love you if you would find a rock, because I think you could put the rock right in this location.
Yeah.
You could build a nice layout where people could pull up with their car and get a picture next to the rock. It doesn't have to be back over there where the temple is. It could be right here in the back of the museum, because according to all the pictures, that probably was the starting place, but as long as it's at the back of the museum, that's good enough. So here's my challenge to you, Bob Fioretti. I'm going to send you a copy of this, and find a rock. We'll do a TV show together. We'll let everybody in Illinois know that you did something great, and maybe you'll get an extra 1 million votes. And finally, there may be a Republican back somewhere in government. To help find the rock, call or write or email. The Bob Fioretti website is bobforillinois.com. The Obama Library is obama.org. Presidential Center, call or write or email them. Where is the rock? Carriage Without Horses, Society of Automotive Engineers, and the Great Horseless Carriage Race, Michael Doolin, a holiday home book. To contact me, and I love to hear from my audience, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. And remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for great motorcycle racing action, Dan Schmitt Politics, to learn what makes America great. And I highly encourage you to visit the World of Motorcycle Museum. They're in Winamac, Indiana, 4 miles south of North Judson on Indiana Highway 39. But give them a call first at 574-896-3172. It's a great trip, a great collection of motorcycles, and you can buy a Harley Davidson or a Yamaha at Kirstein Cycle. And if you want to pick up your copy of the Team Chicago History Package, go to Rich's Yamaha in Lockport, Illinois. But give them a call first at 815-838-8130. It's richesyamaha.com is the website. Pick up your copy of the Team Chicago History Package. If you want to learn everything there is to know about motorcycles, there's nothing like going to a swap meet. Here's a few dates coming up in 2026. WalnexSwap.com, Princeton, Illinois, Shepherdsville, Kentucky, Woodstock, Illinois, and I'll be there, and Princeton, Illinois. WalnexSwap.com, WalnexSwap.com. And the footage of this show from 1995 came Bill Wildt's Motorsports Unlimited TV show, the late great Bill Wildt, and music by Mike Preetz.